Hello and welcome to a new video on this channel. Today we're going to talk about the most powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time. Yeah, it's been quite a long time since I made the last top 5 list, so yeah, it's time for a new top 5 video. And yeah, back then I played Yu-Gi-Oh for many years, and that's the reason why I thought I should do a video about it. And for me, yeah, of course, for every Yu-Gi-Oh player, the most powerful cards are the most interesting ones. And in this video, I'm gonna introduce you the top 5 most powerful cards of all time, including the limited and forbidden ones. Yeah, we just want to talk about the strongest ones without any restrictions. And yeah, I think it's all set, so let's get started. One brief thing before we get started, I would like to say that it was extremely difficult to create this list. It's just a top 5 list, and yeah, it's about the 5 best cards of the whole Yu-Gi-Oh universe, so it was extremely difficult. I will tell you what aspects I considered. I considered, of course, the effect, how strong is the effect, the card, but two other things I also considered. How's the general use? Is it usable in every deck or just in specific ones? So for me it was important that these cards are usable in basically every deck. That was important for me. And the last one, of course, how easy is it or how flexible are you to use this card? Anyway, that's all now. I just wanted to tell you how I created this list, and of course there are so many other strong cards. Yeah, I would have preferred to do a top 50 list, that would be more appropriate, but yeah, it's a top 5 list, so for me the top 5 best flexible and easy usable cards are in this list. But now, finally, let's get started. In number 5 we have the trap card, Last Turn. A forbidden card, and yeah, spoiler alert, all cards in this list are forbidden. Of course they are forbidden because they are the best of all time. So yeah, why Last Turn? Let me briefly read the effect. This card can only be activated during your opponent's turn when your life points are 1000 or less. Select one monster on your side of the field and send all other cards on the field in their respective owner's hand to their respective graveyards. After that, your opponent selects and special summons one monster from their deck in face-up attack position and attacks your selected monster. Any battle damage from this battle is treated as 0. The player whose monster remains alone on the field at the end phase of this turn wins the duel. Any other case results in a draw. Yeah, so why this card is so strong? Let's assume that yeah, we are a very bad duelist and our opponent is extremely good. His deck is so much better, he's so much better, and yeah, you are almost down, just have less than 1000 life points, but you activate this card and maybe were able to summon a specific card like Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend's effect is that no player can special summon any monsters. This is just an example, there are many others. And yeah, let's assume you have this card on your field, it was your turn, and you have less than 1000 life points, activate Last Turn, you would win immediately, because your opponent wouldn't be able to special summon a monster cause of Vanity's Fiend, and you would immediately win just because of this one turn. And yeah, this is extremely powerful, because yeah, a noob could just use these cards, some cards like Vanity's Fiend or other cards who prevent special summons. And yeah, it's extremely powerful, it's forbidden, that's correct, because it's way too powerful. And yeah, Last Turn is my number 5. Number 4 is Port of Greed. Very famous spell card, I think everybody of you might know this card. The effect is very complex. No, of course not. It's just draw 2 cards. And yeah, now you might wondering why is this card so powerful, you just draw cards. It's because there is no tribute, no negative thing at all. It's just you draw 2 cards, what is extremely powerful, because the more cards you get in a short time, it's a high advantage, and the whole duel. Drawing cards is extremely effective. And if you have a card like this, Pot of Greed, where you just draw 2 cards without any tribute, it's extremely powerful and will give you a high advantage. So Pot of Greed is definitely a very powerful card because it's so simple and yeah, there's of course very flexible and always positive. So Pot of Greed, it is served number 4 on this list. Yeah, number 3 is Sixth Sense, a trap card. Yeah, maybe not that well known like Pot of Greed or Last Turn, but also a very strong card. Let me read the effect. Declare 2 numbers from 1 to 6 when your opponent rolls a 6-sided die, and if a result is one of the numbers you declared, you draw that many cards. Otherwise, send the number of cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the result. And this is extremely powerful. Why? Of course, yeah, back then when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, it was not good to send monsters to the graveyard because yeah, the effects were not that strong and not that based on the graveyard. Nowadays, so many decks are based on special summons from the graveyard, extremely many, and therefore it's so powerful. So for example, you activate this card, you say 5 and 6. If your opponent rolls a 6 or 5, you draw 5 or 6 cards. Imagine that. Wow. And otherwise, you send 1 to 4 cards to your graveyard. This is also a very huge advantage. So then you probably can activate some effects from monsters, and yeah, so a very, very powerful card. Yeah, number 2 is Card of Save Return, and the effect is very short. When a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. It's similar to Sixth Sense because it's also based on special summons from your graveyard, and as I was saying, so many decks are able to special summon many different monsters in a short time in 1 turn to your field, and yeah, then you can draw 1 card for every special summon. So yeah, with this card you are also able to maybe draw 4 or 5 cards in 1 turn, and extremely powerful, maybe a little bit simpler than Sixth Sense. That's the reason why I put it 1 number higher than Sixth Sense. And yeah, it deserved number 2 for me. I know it's there's so many other strong cards, as I was saying, but this is a very flexible card, and yeah. Yeah, last but not least, who could be the strongest card in the whole Yu-Gi-Oh universe? Yeah, I took Exodia. And yeah, now you might wondering why I took Exodia. Because it's, of course, the effect is the strongest of all cards. If you have a 5 pieces on your hand, you win the duel. But of course, it's not that easy to get these 5 pieces on your hand. But yeah, for me it was impossible to choose a card would be the strongest in the whole Yu-Gi-Oh universe. So I just took Exodia because I really like Exodia. I think all of you like Exodia. And if we just consider the effect, it's the strongest one in the whole universe of Yu-Gi-Oh! And for me it's okay. I know it's, of course it's not that easy to activate this effect, but for me there's no other possibility, because other cards are either based on specific deck types or just not that devastating as Exodia. So I wasn't able to put a card on number 1 where you just draw many cards. So for me it wasn't possible. So I took Exodia. Yes, my friends, that's it with today's top 5 list about the top 5 strongest Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time. Yeah, it was extremely difficult to pick 5 cards, and yeah, so I think it would be more appropriate to yeah, use a top 20 list maybe, at least. But anyway, I always do top 5 lists, so I tried it in this case as well. And of course I know there are so many other good cards, so many other strong cards I like. Maybe I will add them to the description box or just in the comments below. Please write me your strongest top 5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the comments below. I'm very interested what you think about that, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.